Hey, what's going on, guys? This is TabMock99. Now, have you ever wondered to yourself which Mortal Kombat games are actual tournaments and which ones aren't? If so, you're in luck because that's the topic of today's video. So, as Goro would say, let the tournament begin. Make sure you support this channel and pick up one of these tournament-style esports t-shirts at the merch store at the link below. I'll also go ahead and put it in the description for you. While you're at it, be sure to follow me on social media like Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Everywhere I go, I use the same username, TabMock99. Okay, so, first things first. Back in the very beginning, back in MK1, the game didn't even refer to the tournament as Mortal Kombat. They referred to it in-game as the Shaolin Tournament for Martial Arts. Since then, they've kind of gotten away from that. Now in the lore, they always refer to it as the Mortal Kombat Tournament. But regardless of what they call it, one thing I've always liked is the fact that you need an invitation to get in. Like, yeah, if you're going to participate in a fight to the death, make sure you RSVP first.
The tournament is by invitation only.
And that's something we've seen play out pretty much in every Mortal Kombat adaptation. I mean, if you look at it, they always have to have an invitation to get in. Speaking of invitations, I gotta give a huge shout out to Galloping Ghost Arcade for making this sick invitation for Shang Tsung's fight night back in 2015. Signed by Shang Tsung himself, Phillip. So, yeah, the first Mortal Kombat game was always a tournament. Easiest way to show that is to start playing a one-player game, then have player 2 come in and join. It will say, player 2 has entered the tournament. So what was the outcome of that? Well, it's pretty much well established that Liu Kang was the winner. I mean, there's that iconic image of Liu Kang defeating Shang Tsung in the intro to MK2. So what about MK2? Is that one a tournament? Also yes. The MK2 comic by John Tobias spells it out. Shang Tsung begs for his life for a second chance. He tells Shao Kahn, we can initiate a new challenge, a new tournament. And just like with MK1, you can start up a one-player game, then have player 2 come in. It'll say, player 2 has entered the tournament. And again, the fighters receive an invitation so that they can participate. The last page of the MK2 comic kind of shows it. Although the way the story is retold in MK Shaolin Monks, not so much.
Your presence here is unwanted, uninvited.
So what about the outcome of the second tournament? Well, that one's not so cut and dry.
So who won? Liu Kang or Kung Lao?
Kung Lao. Liu Kang.
You know, I'm kind of thinking that maybe we shouldn't consult MK Shaolin Monks on this one. Let's look at another unexpected place, the intro to MK Trilogy. When MK Trilogy recaps the events that have happened up to now, they explain that the second tournament was actually a diversion. It was a scheme devised by Shao Kahn to resurrect Sindel on Earth, while the Earth Warriors are distracted. This might come as a surprise to some of you, but that's actually the story the way John Tobias envisioned it. And the John Tobias telling of the story is the one that I subscribe to. In fact, he even said as much on a recent episode of Mortal Podcast.
You know, Shang Tsung got a second chance by Shao Kahn, and his plan was, if you challenge a Mortal Kombat champion to a fight and they accept, another tournament starts. And so the idea was that he went into Earth, slaughtered the Shaolin to lure Liu Kang into accepting a challenge and going into Outworld to getting revenge. That was kind of the idea. And then the idea was while they went into Outworld to go get their revenge, back on Earth, Sindel is being reborn. And so in MK3, it wasn't that it was after they lost MK2. It was while they were in the Outworld during MK2 that this other shit was going on behind their backs. And so that's why they lured them into Outworld so that they could do this other bullshit on Earth, and invade that way and cheat.
Okay, so what about after that? What about MK3? Is that one really a tournament? Not so much. It's basically an all-out invasion. This time around, if you start up a one-player game and then have player 2 join in, it doesn't even say that someone new's joining the tournament. Not to read too much into it, but that's the first time this has happened. Though there are a couple of spots here and there that do refer to a third tournament, like Kung Lao's ending in Mortal Kombat 3, not to mention Classic Sub-Zero's ending in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. But for the most part, you kinda have to disregard that. So yeah, for the third installment of the series, for MK3, Ultimate MK3, MK Trilogy, we're basically going to go with not a tournament, not as far as the lore is concerned. But the funny thing is, for the first time in-game, there actually is a proper tournament mode, with brackets and everything. A truly legit tournament structure. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's a little all too ironic. Yeah, I really do think. So really, after the first 2 games, they kind of got away from the whole tournament thing.
But since the Outworlders violated the rules, there may never be another tournament.
So to recap, the first game was an official Mortal Kombat tournament, the kind held once a generation. The second one is also a tournament. Now, it's a twist on the rules of tournament battle, but it still qualifies. The stakes are still the same. The third one is Shao Kahn's invasion of Earth, and the fourth one is actually Shinnok's invasion. So we haven't really seen a tournament since then. On the other hand, in MK Deception, there's a stage called Liu Kang's Tomb, which has 4 dragon medallions in the background. The game even states that the medallions are there to represent his 4 Mortal Kombat victories. And you know what else? In MK Deadly Alliance, there's not just 1, but 2 tournaments going on. Sub-Zero held a recruiting tournament in order to find more members for the Lin Kuei. That's how he got his protege, Frost, who was the winner of that one. Also, the Deadly Alliance took over Li Mei's village, capturing her people, offering to free them only if Li Mei could win the tournament. Oh, Shang Tsung, having a tournament is your answer for everything. What do you want to have for dinner? I don't know, let's settle it with a tournament. What do you want to watch on TV? I don't know, let's have another tournament. Well, whose turn is it to take out the trash? Tournament. Actually, to be fair, tournaments have gotten pretty rare lately. Even Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition on Game Boy Advance isn't actually a true tournament. They haven't had an official Mortal Kombat tournament in a long time.
Is there going to be a tournament at some point in the story mode?
No, there's no tournament.
Is it always tempting to throw a tournament in there?
Not anymore. It was about the first 10 years.
Actually, I'd say it's still pretty tempting. You know, in the MKX comics, there's not just 1, but 2 tournaments going on. The first is an underground illegal fight to the death in a nightclub, where Cassie Cage was forced to fight against Frost. The second is the Lin Kuei tournament for Sub-Zero to find new recruits. Kinda like the one from the old timeline, this allows Frost to demonstrate her worthiness to join the clan and train under Sub-Zero. Fast forward to MK11, and they mentioned that the Shao Kahn had a tournament, after the death of Goro, to decide who the new leader should be, and that Shiva was the winner of that one.
How many fights did it take to win your crown?
24, all ending in fatalities.
Damn! Ever heard of tapping out?
I think it's cool that even though we haven't seen an official Mortal Kombat tournament in a long time, they still have all these side tournaments going on. Like Mortal Kombat just can't pull itself away from them. Except, of course, for the Mortal Kombat 9 reboot, where they had to show the tournament as they replayed the events from the first couple games. Which leads me to conclude that once they reboot the series again, once they reboot it, we will see the return of the Mortal Kombat tournament. Not a side tournament, not an all-out battle or an all-out invasion, but a true official Mortal Kombat tournament. Mark my words, it will return. So, I want to give a huge shout out again to Galloping Ghost Arcade, Doc Mack in particular, as well as Phillip Diaz, the artist behind that invitation. Make sure you guys check out Galloping Ghost Arcade anytime you're in the Chicagoland area. They're one of the biggest arcades in the country, if not the biggest arcade, so you're always going to have a blast. And until next time, this is Tabmock99, leaving you with a Tiger Woods quote. There's no sense in going to a tournament if you don't believe you can win it.